This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, good morning, Bronco Nation, and welcome from legendary, historic Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot where you could win Derek's Bronco Raptor, Prater. You come in here, you bet a few bucks, Prater dollars at the slot machines, and you have a chance to win a new Raptor Bronco. Of course, when you come to Circa Resort and Casino, Vegas Vicky greets you. The legendary neon sign, they moved it into the lobby, hangs over the delicious, amazing, I don't know all the right descriptions for Barry's Steakhouse, Mike Prater. You see this morning, the tables already going, folks hooting and hollering on a Friday morning at 7:30 in the morning. Blackjack, craps down there at the end, and of course the Mega Bar, the longest indoor bar in the state of Nevada, where I think Mike Prater, rumor has it, right about there, you and the billionaire owner Derek Stevens took a tequila shot.
That warms the cockles on my heart, DJ. That looks fantastic. That looks fun. And That's exactly the spot where that happened, and you're making me jealous, my friend.
21.5 right there on the board. The spread for tonight's game, Boise State and Nevada. The Wolfpack, the Broncos meeting one final time, and we were down in Las Vegas for basketball media days, Mike Prater, and said, look at this view. Why don't we stay another night and fly up to Reno on Friday? So we're out here at Cabana 7 at Stadium Swim out here at Circa Resort and Casino, and they got the sports on. It's another beautiful day. The weekend starts today for a lot of folks and starts tonight for Boise State and Nevada. And like I said, Mike, here in Las Vegas, could have flown to Reno last night and said, you know what, heck with that. I'll hang out with the guys at Circa and have another night here and fly up today. So my flight's here in a couple of hours. We'll get there for the game tomorrow, but always appreciate Derek Stevens and the crew at Circa for having us. And yeah, why would you want to leave this place if you don't have to? I might just stay and watch the game here. Can I cover the game from the pool?
Absolutely, you could do that. It probably wouldn't be the best optics, the best look, but you could absolutely do that. And it's the perfect way. It's the perfect weekend. It's going to be a spectacular college football weekend. So I'm fired up. And when you go to Nevada, usually you don't make a lot of good decisions. So far, based on what you've said, BJ, you're making a lot of good decisions in Nevada right now. Nicely done.
By the way, the cabanas here, I think you've broadcasted from this very cabana before. You guys did it when it was 110 degrees or whatever, but I just noticed the blue and orange the blue and orange pillows here, Mike Prater. So they got the blue couch with the blue and orange pillows. So this is the Boise State themed cabana, I guess, Cabana 7 for us here at overlooking the Gulf and not a bad view for the next hour or so. They're bringing us water here. I wish it was different beverages, but we're working today here on a Friday morning at Circa. And, Mike, the game tonight, obviously a big one, the 47th and final scheduled meeting for Boise State and Nevada. We're going to get to your column here in a little bit, but the most games of any opponent Boise State has ever played is the Nevada Wolfpack, and they will play the 47th meeting tonight. Again, as I said, a 21-point favorite. This should not be much of a game, but obviously everybody knows when you go to Reno, you get two rivals together, crazy things happen. But on paper, this appears like a pretty one-sided matchup.
I think Nevada's going to bring the emotions early. They're obviously planning this weekend with homecoming and celebrating and honoring the 2010 team. That's a shot at Boise State. That's rubbing it in their nose. That team was inducted into the Nevada Hall of Fame last night and will be honored on the field tonight. So they're doing this on purpose. Even Spencer Danielson acknowledged that this is a Jeff Choate summer meeting situation where it's like let's do what we can to screw it to the man. And he, there's a ton of respect for Boise State with Jeff Choate, but he's also a competitor. He's also got the chip on his shoulder, and they want to win this game bad. I have a feeling, and I said this yesterday. I could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling Nevada might even score the first touchdown. That the emotions might get high and wide for those guys, but afterwards, they're going to be, Boise State should be okay. Boise State, by the way, since you're in Vegas, Boise State is one of three teams, actually one of four teams in the Mountain West that only has one loss ATS this year against the spread. Boise State, I believe, is 6-1 ATS. They've won 6 in a row after losing to Florida State or South Florida. And so they're on a roll here. But the number's always right on. Vegas has really got a really good handle on Boise State. If they say tonight's 21-22, I think Boise State beats them by 21 or 22.
And you've got North Texas, Charlotte at 5 Mountain Time. You've got California, Virginia Tech at 5:30 Mountain Time. But right about when those game ends, or maybe that last game's in the fourth quarter there, Mike, the only quote-unquote late-night game tonight. I know it's 10 o'clock Eastern, but Boise State, Nevada, I mean, this is a good opportunity for Boise State on a national stage, the only game going on tonight to, if they play well, I don't know if make a statement's the right word. I mean, they still have a long way to go, and a lot of other crazy things have to happen, but at least a chance to get to 6-2 and play well on national TV in front of a lot of eyes.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, obviously, South Florida and Memphis play. I know San Diego State and Fresno play. This is kind of the beginning. This is the first of what I like to call elimination weekends. So far, the first half of the season has all been built the foundation for this season, and then all of a sudden, we're going to start eliminating some of these teams. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, if Boise State takes care of business, it's the first of many, many dominoes that has to fall, and they should be able to take care of business tonight. I don't know if style points matter, but yeah, if they're struggling in the second half, I'm not worried about the style points across the country. I'm not worried about the committee. I'm not worried about any of that kind of stuff. I'm worried about the fan base right here in Boise, who is on edge with this team, a very successful team with a lot of good players and some good success, but it's certainly not endearing to everybody. So Boise State, for the optics of its own fans, has to come out and play well tonight. That's where the style points come in for the old family.
So are you at all? I figured you'd be in the camp of don't even say the word playoff or I'm going to laugh at you. You know, it's not even at all possible right now. But did Memphis losing that as a 21-point favorite, by the way, the same spread as tonight, to UAB at all open that door where if Boise State runs the table, there could be crazier things that have happened? Are you at least for at least letting fans keep that as a crazy goal, even as crazy as it may be, that there is some crazy scenario where they could cannibalize themselves on the other side?
I said a couple of times on Idaho Sports Talk this week that the only thing that I would be willing to say is that Boise State's back in the conversation, and they're at the very tail end of the conversation. But up until last week, they were not in the conversation. So, yeah, absolutely. They're making progress there. And, you know, the American's going to cannibalize itself, and we'll see what Navy can do. Navy's undefeated as well, and they have a whole look at their schedule. Holy crap. That's a tough schedule that Navy's got. So they're definitely going to eliminate, if they eliminate the right teams, then Boise State, if they take care of business, should be okay. And I still worry about that Boise State at San Diego State game. I think San Diego State's somewhat legit, at least on defense. I think San Diego State's going to crush Fresno State tomorrow. Actually, I don't know about crush. Let's say beat them up. Fresno State's not going to score 10 points in this game. And if San Diego State can get 20, then they should be okay. So Fresno State tomorrow will be eliminated. I know that's Boise State's next opponent after this weekend. So things are happening. We're starting to play that game. And yes, to answer your question, Boise State is definitely back in the conversation.
I'm trying to find, they don't have all the odds on the Stadium Swim screen out here. I was trying to, sounds like before I leave, I may need to make a bet on San Diego State there for you, Mike Prater.
I don't know what that number is, but I just, you know, and talking to some of my buddies in Fresno who are really tied to that program, they just don't like what's going on with Fresno State. They think that their record is a little bit of a paper tiger. Warner, their quarterback, is a disaster, guys. I don't care what his last name is or who his father is. Look how many interceptions that guy has. He's a sloppy machine, and that offense is really kind of struggling. San Diego State's really, really good on defense. You know, Vegas obviously knows what the over-under is in this game, and they know that San Diego State's going to keep it close. I don't know if the better bet is the under, but I just don't see Fresno State scoring a lot of points on San Diego State. I'd be shocked if this wasn't like a 21-10 type of football game.
Now, our man Nathan Carroll, who does a good job with the analytics and the numbers, all that, he was bringing up a crazy scenario, and I don't have the teams in front of me, Mike, so I apologize. But there's a crazy scenario where you could have a 3-loss ACC champion when it's all said and done because of who plays who in the championship game. If somebody beats somebody, with tiebreakers to get into the title game. If there was a 3-loss ACC champion, is there any chance a 2-loss Boise State and a 1 or 2-loss American champ both could finish as the top 5, I guess, highest ranked champion? Is there any chance, again, after last year, giving Boise State a bye and doing some of the things they did, is there any way they would have the ACC, one of their power conferences, not get one of the 5 guaranteed spots?
I think so. I definitely think so. Yeah, absolutely. Now the hard part's getting every one of those teams in that conference 3 losses. That's going to be the difficult part, and it will come down to a conference championship game, depending on whoever it is in that game. But yeah, absolutely. It's small, and Vegas likes to play the odds, and the odds are very, very tiny in this particular case. But hey, you weren't even on the board last week, so you showed up on the board, and things are going. And just take care of business tonight in Reno. No messing around. No funny business. No monkey business there in Reno. Get your ass home and get some sleep and get some weekend taken care of. I think this is a nice little setup for Boise State. It has to be baby steps every single weekend. And the 3 things this week: Boise State win, Fresno State loss. We want we want Memphis to beat South Florida, I think, although there's a case for maybe if you flip-flop that around, it completely eliminates Memphis. I know there's a scenario out there that kind of works. So we'll see how that game shakes out. Either way, the loser of that game is going to help benefit Boise State as long as they take care of business.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a tie with South Florida at the end of the day.
No. You're going to llose that one for sure.
Yeah, that'll be – and so I've heard both scenarios, actually, where you want Memphis to beat South Florida, give them a second loss to equal Boise State, but that would keep Memphis alive and give them a nice win. But also they're going to have that 21-point favorite loss on their resume, which is just not good to UAB. So there's a lot of football still to play. I'd still put it at 10% or whatever. I wouldn't say it's very likely at all right now, Mike Prater, but that Memphis loss did at least open the door where we can at least say it's not the crazy. I mean, there is some you could come up with a scenario where Boise State could still get in this thing and not be the craziest scenario of all time. And I guess at this point at 5-2, that's certainly Boise State will take that. You'll take having the sliver of the door be open for them to try to come in, take care of business, see what else happens elsewhere. And I do think they're going to take care of business, Mike. I know the San Diego State game is a little bit scary, but I think I said this last week. I just think Boise State's better than all these teams. I don't think the Mountain West is all that good, frankly, and I think Boise State, lost to two pretty good teams. And so the San Diego State game, I'll be curious what that spread would end up being. Right now, what would you say? Is that like a Boise State -5 type of game, or -3 on the road, maybe Boise State?
Yeah, it depends on what happens this weekend. If San Diego State looks good against Fresno, that might be worth a point or two. If Boise State struggles against Nevada, that might be worth a point or two. I think somewhere between 4 and 7 points. Boise State would be favored on the road trip to San Diego State, just based on what we know right now. Yes, for sure.
They'll be favored for sure. They're going to be favored in every game the rest of the season here. And, like I said, I guess if you lose to San Diego, then San Diego State would have a chance to host the championship. But you would suspect that Boise State's going to probably host the championship game as well. So like I said, I don't think this is some crazy outlandish prediction, Mike, but I fully expect Boise State to be sitting there at 11-2 on quote-unquote Selection Sunday with at least having a chance. And they're going to play Friday night. They're going to have their game out of the way, and then there'll be a game some games on Saturday, in particular, maybe that American Championship game where you're thinking, okay, if they can just upset. And I forget who it was a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, there was the same scenario. Maybe it was UCF just needing to lose to Memphis in the conference championship game, and Boise State would have somehow been in, and it was a close game. We're all watching in the press box, and then they came back and won. So I don't know, if it's going to end up being like that or not, but I think Boise State's going to win out and be 11-2 and see what happens at this point. But that starts tonight against Nevada. And I know you wrote the column, Mike Prater. We'll get to that in a second about kind of the history of this rivalry. I know you said Jeff Choate is going to be fired up, and maybe they'll even get the lead and come out strong. It's homecoming. As you said, they honored the 2010 team. Is Kaepernick in town then? Is he going to be there?
I sniffed around last night, and I don't think so. They were doing some interviews yesterday with some of the former players, and former players were talking about the 2010 players. We're talking about Kaepernick, kind of like he's this distant memory, but right now there is no indication that Colin Kaepernick is showing up, which would be unfortunate. I know he got really squirrely in real life after football, but man, that was such an important part of his life, and not going back and having some kind of relationship with Nevada. If you're honoring the entire team and putting the entire team in the Hall of Fame, you would expect him as the leader of that team to show up. I'd be disappointed, but hey, if Colin Kaepernick shows up tonight on the field, that might be worth a couple of extra points for Nevada. So maybe we don't want him to show up. They'd be pretty fired up if Colin Kaepernick showed up.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to get thoughts to the game, our predictions, our keys to this game, and if this game is close, why is it close? What's going wrong for Boise State if we look up in the fourth quarter and this game is close? And let us know in the chat, should Boise State schedule a non-conference game with Nevada? Jeff Choate, he said, sure. Yeah, why are they going to play on the East Coast or play some of these games? Jeff Choate, of course, he'd be in favor of playing Boise State, but should Boise State answer the call and schedule Nevada? What do you guys think moving forward here? Again, 47 times they've played, the most of any. Tonight will be the 47th time, the most of any two teams, or the most that Boise State has ever played Nevada. And we'll see if that rivalry continues after this year or not. We'll get to that and more in just a second. But I do want to thank a couple of great sponsors that make these shows free of charge for you to watch on YouTube, and that includes RoePaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, ROEPaint.com. All your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, and that's Andy Rowe and RoePaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much at every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. And now ICCU is back on board as an official sponsor with Boise State, and you see their logo inside, outside. They're passing out shirts at the last home game. Hope you got one of those. Rally towels, and as you see, 7 NIL deals with student athletes. So we appreciate ICCU. Prater's an ICCU member. I'm an ICCU member. Idaho Central Credit Union. Taco Bell, we appreciate them as well. The Nicolason Family SON Management Group. TacoBellWorks.com is the website where you can find more information on the local Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations and what they're doing in the community, including putting up $400,000+ committed money to endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball team. So if you're looking for a delicious, quick meal and you want to help out somebody that really does support the local community, their owners are based right here in the Treasure Valley. That is a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. Are we going to make it 2 weeks in a row tonight, Prater, with the Jacksons, Latrell Capel? Is he getting in the end zone again tonight?
Let's go, yes.
All right. You heard it from Prater, so be ready on Monday morning because if Latrell Caples gets in the end zone tonight, you get a 49-cent fountain drink on Monday using your Let's Go Rewards app. And how about this one? What odds can we get, Mike Prater, if we can get Breezy Dubar? They get up by so many points. They put him in at the end of the game. Any chance we can get the Breezy bundle on Tuesday, a hot dog and a soda for $1?
You know, if this game's going to be a blowout like we think, 20 to 30 points, and they finally got Breezy some carries, I'm going to say not today, but maybe somewhere else down the road. So we'll go yes on Caples, no on the Breezy bundle.
What would we say, like 20 to 1 odds or something if you're in Vegas maybe? I don't know.
I like that number. Yeah, that's a good number.
All right, Breezy bundle. If he scores tonight, you can get a hot dog and a soda, and that's for $1 on Tuesday at Jackson's. If you want a Breezy jersey, a Latrell jersey, any player on the roster, you can go to the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame, and they will hook you up with a jersey, a custom-made jersey. If you want your last name on the back, if you want Prater's last name on the back, they can get you a custom jersey at the Blue and Orange store, online at theblueandorangestore.com, right there at the Boise Town Square Hall of Fame location. Or you can go to the location there at the mall or order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com. And speaking of Latrell Caples, Lithia Ford of Boise, we'll have the pregame show live from the field tonight. The Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show live from the field at Mackey Stadium, starting about 6:30 Mountain Time. We'll go from 6:30 to 7:30 Mountain Time. Get you set. Jeremiah Dickey will join us live on the field. We'll show you warm-ups tonight. Looking forward to that. 6:30 Mountain Time. The game's at 8 Mountain Time, right, Prater? So 6. Correct. I got my timing screwed up here on Pacific time. 6:30 to 7:30. We'll be live Mountain Time ahead of the 8 p.m. kickoff. And then again, that's sponsored by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. All right, this rivalry, this series, we it comes up every time. Oh, are they a rival? Are they a rival? But and even when they went to the Mountain West, Mike, they had this deal where you didn't play every year. It was play for 2, take 2 off, that kind of thing. So Boise State was only going to Fresno once every 4 years, only going to Reno once every 4 years. And that helped, I think that did sour some of these quote unquote rivalries as opposed to when they were playing every single year. But when you look at some of these games, whether it was 2010 and some of the ones like last year's was closer than it should have been. I mean, and there's been some classic games, the 4 overtime game in Boise. I mean, just what do you make of this? And I know you wrote about it at BroncoNationNews.com. Folks can go subscribe and read that. $7 a month. You can subscribe right now, 30% off. Read all of Mike Prater's great columns and work at BroncoNationNews.com. But Mike, don't give the whole column away, but just your thoughts on this game, the future of this game. Nevada, of course, would like to play it. They'll take the check. They probably want the home and home, but I bet you they'd even go to Boise and take the $1.5 million and save money on the travel and the flight and, who knows what. But from a Boise State perspective, what's your take on the future of this rivalry? And we saw yesterday, kind of ironically, when your column came out, Mike, on the basketball side, UNLV and San Diego State scheduling a home and home series that starts next year in San Diego. So we're already starting to see on the basketball side some of the teams that are not, in the same conference anymore scheduling games. What's the likelihood we get a press release from Boise State about Nevada and Boise State football keeping this thing going?
Yeah, probably not anytime soon. And by the way, that I'm glad you mentioned the basketball game yesterday. There's a lot of bad information out there from a lot of people who think the Mountain West has told people not to schedule the new Pac-12, and the Pac-12 is not going to schedule the new old Mountain West. There is no edict about scheduling. Gloria Navarez, Teresa Gould, Jeremiah Dickey, they're all on the same page. They're all on the same table when it comes to scheduling. Anybody can schedule anybody. Now, I don't think there's going to be any paperwork or business transactions while they're in court. I'll give you that for the next year. Certainly, they have to figure that out by next June, July, and they will. But you can schedule these games. And I'm no different than Boise State fans who say, hell no, hell no, hell no to Nevada. I get the emotions of that. But look at the reality of it all, guys. And Boise State has 9 openings on its football schedule between now and 2030. 9. And almost every single one of those games have to be either an FCS program or they have to be a group of 5 program, because the Power 4 program, the Power 4 spots for Boise State on their schedule have all been filled except for 2027. Jeremiah Dickey wants one Power 4 team every single year, and there's one on the schedule every single year except for 2027, and that's kind of being squirreled away for that possible international game that Jeremiah Dickey's been talking about. So that's the reality of the situation. Those 9 opponents that Boise State has to schedule, where are they going to come from, guys? They need to be like-minded G5 programs for the most part. Boise State's playing at Western Michigan next year, for crying out loud. They're playing South Dakota, for crying out loud. Why can't we play some of the old Mountain West teams? I'm not sitting here advocating to go back to Reno. I think that's ridiculous. But if Reno signed up for it, if I got a press release in 6 months that said Boise State signed a 2-for-1 deal with Reno, they're coming here twice, they're going down there once, I got no problem with that. Fans are still going to go on that road trip. There'll probably be at least 5,000 fans at tonight's game, maybe more, maybe less. I'm very curious as to see what that number is, but you have to schedule somebody. And I know it's not sexy to go back to your old neighborhood or go back to your old girlfriend, but again, would you rather play Reno? Would you rather play UNLV, or would you rather play Western Michigan and South Dakota? It's about the reality of it, guys. It's not about your wish list. It's about the reality. And I think that there'll be some Mountain West games on Boise State's schedule in the future. And I don't care who they are. Sign them all up. And hopefully they all play here in 101 type games. I'm not interested in going at home, but if we have to, that's fine too.
I like the 2-for-1 idea that you have there, Prater, because, I don't think Boise State's going to be signing up to go to Laramie anytime soon. Probably not signing up to go to the Air Force Academy anytime soon. I mean, Air Force is going to be the hardest one to try to get any of those teams to want to play them. It just doesn't make sense for a one-off to play them. And they don't have a lot of openings anyway in a non-conference schedule when they play, the Commander-in-Chief Trophy in those games. I think they get one game a year they can schedule or something. So it won't be Air Force, won't be Wyoming. Probably won't be New Mexico, but like you said, if New Mexico wanted to do just a bye game where they just came up for $1 million and played, like there's worse teams. I mean, why not? But pay them and beat them by 20 or whatever, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. But the Nevada, I think Nevada is one that does make some sense. And like you said, you're trying to find regional road games that your fans can travel to. Yes. A 2-for-1, a 3-for-1, something like that. I mean, if it had to be a home and home, I guess I'd be okay with that too, because it's not like you're helping your fans out. It's a close road game they can go to. It's a rivalry game, and you're probably going to beat them by 3 touchdowns. So I don't think you worry too much about that. I guess who knows in 5 years who's going to be coaching Nevada and what that looks like. But I have no problem with Nevada. I mean, I don't, Boise State, I don't think would have any problem scheduling those teams. I think it's some of those teams wondering, are we saying screw them? We don't want to play them anymore. They left us. Or do they also, take the higher? I mean, when Kansas and Missouri, I just go back to this because I know it. They were 100+ years, Mike Prater rivals, played every single year in the Big 8, whatever, 100+ years in a row they played. And when Missouri left for the SEC, Bill Self basically said, see ya, you want to leave? You don't want to be in our conference? We had a scheduled game every year. We have no responsibility to play you guys. You could have stayed in the conference and played us. Sorry. It took over a decade. It took new athletic directors. It took a lot of, mending fences for Kansas and Missouri to start playing. And they just played in football for the first time since that breakup 15 years ago this season. And it was more on the Kansas side. You left us. We don't want to play you. We don't have to. So I wonder on the other side, if Nevada and some of those schools are like, you left us. Sorry, we don't want to play you. But then Boise State's like, okay, fine. We don't care that much. We'll find somebody else. But I do think Nevada's the interesting one. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. San Jose, nope, don't care about them. Who's the other team that's there's one other team that's not going on to the conference. I guess Hawaii. I would play Hawaii. I think for recruiting purposes, I know it's a long trip and it can be an issue, but I think I saw Hawaii, and is it San Diego State scheduled a series also? One of those two teams scheduled, or Fresno. Hawaii has a deal with somebody they just signed. I think it's San Diego State.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do remember seeing that, but I'm not sure which one. I think the Hawaii game would be fine, and in the column I talked about, once every 4 to 6 years, a road trip to Hawaii wouldn't be bad, but I wouldn't do it until at least 2029 when that brand new stadium is built. You're not going to go back to Hawaii to play in a 12,000-seat bleacher high school gym. And even in my column, I said, why wouldn't you? I think if Boise State, if Hawaii signed up to play Boise State and the grand opening of a new Aloha Stadium in 2029, a one-off down there, because that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool for Boise State. That'd be pretty cool for Hawaii. I think that would be fantastic. So book Boise State for the grand opening of Aloha Stadium in 2029 and go back to Hawaii every 4 to 6 years. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, they recruit in Hawaii. They certainly have reasons to go to Hawaii other than just playing the game, and that is somewhere the fans might like to go to for a one-off type game also. So that certainly makes a lot more sense, like you said, than Kalamazoo, Michigan when it comes to scheduling games. So be curious to see what happens. But as you said, Mike, 2027, I guess that's the next big domino to fall, right?
In terms of the schedule, in terms of the schedule, 2027. Think about this, guys, and I'm looking at some of these comments, and you guys are ridiculous, man. Boise State's not bringing Notre Dame to the Blue. Boise State's not going to sign a long-term series with BYU. Again, let me repeat. Boise State is not in the market for P4 programs. Their P4 programs are all scheduled between now and like 2032. They're not playing anymore. You're not going to get the big fancy press release that Boise State signed this really sexy game with a P4 program unless it's 2027. And 2027 right now, Boise State's scheduled to play at App State. That's not attractive. They're scheduled to play at Marshall. That's not attractive. USF is scheduled to come to Boise. I guess that's okay. We'll have some fun with that one. And that means you can probably have your second home game would be an FCS program, like an Idaho State or an Idaho or whoever it's going to be. And your fifth home game, depending on how the Pac-12 shakes out, because they're going to have 7 home games in the future. Your fifth non-conference game could be that international game across the seas against a P4 program or whoever. So after that, it's a whole series of group of 5. It's a whole series of FCS programs. That's what Boise State is going after, guys, when it's the scheduling. Stop thinking and stop dreaming about the P4s. I guess you can dream about them, but it ain't going to happen, guys.
And I will say, being down here in Las Vegas for Basketball Media Day yesterday, Mike Prater, this topic came up about scheduling throughout the day. And I don't think I found a coach that said on either side that said they wouldn't be interested. And maybe they're just playing the political positive, game in front of the cameras. But, Leon Rice said, sure, I'll play UNLV. I'll play New Mexico. I'll play Nevada. Those are quality games that you need. And, I asked Gloria Nevarez, actually, you can go back and find the clip. I asked Gloria Nevarez, is there anything that would preclude, them playing each other? Like you said, the agreement and all that, or would they encourage that, or would they care? And she said, there's only so many teams out West. Like you have to find games. And it looks like if they only get the 8 teams for that first year in the Pac-12 next year, on the basketball side, it's 9 teams. So you'd have 8 home and homes. You'd have 16 games on the basketball side. Well, they're going to go to 32 games next year. They're adding a game, Mike. So on the basketball side, you've got to fill 16 non-conference games. And to fill 16 non-conference games, there's only so many road trips you can make, so many teams you can play. I would suspect it wouldn't shock me if Boise State had 2 or 3 old Mountain West teams on the schedule next year alone, and whether that's a home and home with a New Mexico, whether it's just paying a Wyoming or an Air Force to come to Boise as one of their bye games, I don't know. But I do think UNLV, I do think New Mexico and Nevada make a lot of sense on a basketball side. And on the football side, yeah, UNLV, that makes a ton of sense for me. And I don't know, again, if UNLV is going to be – you get the sense Boise State, Jeremiah Dickey, they would continue playing UNLV if UNLV wanted to do it?
100%, 100%, 1,000%. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's a priority. I mean, but because I think JD looks at UNLV the same as he looks at Air Force. It's 7 Mountain West teams going away, and they're all opportunities for him. And obviously UNLV is sexy, and maybe you can get a UNLV home and home. And I think that would be a nice travel destination. Boise State fans should be allowed to go to Vegas for a game once every 5 years. And so I got no problem with that. I would almost schedule UNLV like they did in the past with BYU. And again, guys, they're not scheduling BYU. They're not scheduling a home and home with Utah. Stop that. It's not going to happen. But you home and home and a long-term series, give me a 10-year contract and a game every year with UNLV back and forth. That might be a little bit too much, but I wouldn't hate that. And that's the only team in the old Mountain West that I would get in bed with for that kind of length. Everybody else would have to be just kind of a one-off here, a one-off there. Again, and I see people on the chat board saying, why would we leave the Mountain West if we're just going to fill our schedule with them? Boise State has 9 openings between now and 2030. Nobody is sitting here saying Boise State's going to fill those 9 openings with 9 Mountain West teams. We're talking about 1, maybe 2 out there. So that means you still got to go out and get 7 Western Michigans, 7 Appalachian States, 7 whatevers. And you got to have the opportunities. Gloria Nevarez is right. We can all schedule everybody. And again, if she said that on your show yesterday, that confirms what I've been told. There is no vendetta. There is no mandate to not schedule everybody. Everybody can schedule everybody. That's not an issue. So stop spreading that rumor. And you have to have these opponents. I love what you said about basketball. In my column, I said there's no reason for football to ever take a football weekend road trip to Albuquerque. You should never go there. A one-off with New Mexico coming here sounds great. I'd be more interested in a basketball series with New Mexico than I would a football series. So, yes, it works both ways, and sometimes you have to pick and choose, and I have no problem with Boise State picking and choosing old Mountain West teams.
Yeah, and like I said, Gloria said yesterday, there's only so many teams out here. So unless you want to go all the way to the East Coast, like you said, I mean, that's it. The Kalamazoo thing's a perfect example. Would you rather go to Kalamazoo, Michigan, or Reno, Nevada? Like it's a perfect example. And as she said, there's just only so much inventory and games and things out here. She also said, Mike, the timeline. A lot of people say, and you can go back and we were live for almost 5 hours yesterday, and we were dealing with Wi-Fi issues, all kinds of stuff, Mike. But we battled through for 5 hours. I know a couple of the interviews were a little choppy, but you could at least hear for the most part what they were saying. But I think the Gloria one was at the beginning when we were okay. And she talked about how the time. A lot of people, another misnomer out there that you're talking about is the timing of this impacting. This court date keep getting pushed back. All this stuff keeps happening, and the money that is due to UNLV and some of these other schools, Air Force, the payouts, the bonus for sticking with the Mountain West. If they don't have those payments from the Pac-12 teams yet, because this litigation is still ongoing, would that screw things up? Would that cause UNLV to back out and maybe join the Pac-12? She said that the timeline does not impact any of that. They've all signed the grant of rights already. She said the timing will not impact any of that. So I don't know if legally some teams might see that the same way if they're not getting paid by certain dates, but she said that there's no worry that the timeline and this continuing to get pushed back and in some cases may not even be done before the new league is supposed to start next year. She claimed yesterday on our show that won't be a factor.
Well, she's way smarter about this situation than me, but I also, I've read a couple of her press releases and her statements, and I know they put out another one yesterday as this court case continues. I still think that there's a 5% chance that UNLV is going to, they can void their contract if the terms of the grants of rights have not been met. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. So if they don't get the money that they're due by July 1st of next year, they can void that contract. Now, could Gloria Nevarez go out and find that money and find a stopgap measure to make sure that they get paid, to make sure that there is no void in the details? Yeah, lots of things are possible, but I think there's a 5% chance that UNLV backs out and ends up in the old Pac or in the new Pac-12. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, especially after last week. I mean, UNLV is nice. It's sexy. It's fun. It's a cool road trip. It's the only really cool road trip left on BSU's future. I mean, what are we going to pin Boise State road trips on? Corvallis and Pullman? I love.
Would you rather have Texas State or UNLV?
Oh, I would rather have UNLV. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and Texas State right now is, they kind of got off to a decent start to this season, but their stadium is half empty and they're a 500 ball club, and there's nothing sexy about that. I would 100% rather have UNLV.
All right, it's an interesting, fascinating discussion that will continue for months here, I guess, as this all kind of plays out in the courtroom, Mike, and plays out as teams try to look for schedules and things like that. But there is a game tonight. Let's finish up the show talking about the specifics of the game tonight, the team tonight, and what we expect to see. If you have a score prediction, get that in the chat. You mentioned fans going. I know the True Blue Travel had a couple charter buses going down yesterday. I know our friend Carrie Simons and others was on that bus yesterday. So there'll be at least a couple hundred as part of that group going down, and I'm sure others are making the trip as well. So there'll be some blue and orange in the crowd tonight. And if you have a score prediction or if you're going to the game, let us know, and we'll get to that here momentarily. But do want to thank Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio, and Game. TheSpaTeam.com is their website. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. If you're looking for a sauna, a spa, a pool table, dartboard, they got you covered at TheSpaTeam.com. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. Check them out. Ridley's Family Markets. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Shop Ridley's.com. And there's 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Find one near you at shopridleys.com. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. He's going to be a regular contributor with us on the show, maybe even on Fridays, Mike, as we talk basketball. Once basketball season gets rolling in earnest here, he joined us last week. BauscherRealEstate.com. Everybody has 5 friends that are realtors, but Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check him out at BauscherRealEstate.com. And Signature Roofing, speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a voicemail, and that's brought to you by our friends at Signature Roofing. We will do the drawing on Monday for the Shields gift card, so we're actually going to give you one more day. If you want to throw in a post-game voicemail tomorrow night, We'll add it to the list, and we will draw on Monday $500 gift card to Shields, courtesy of our friends at Signature Roofing. And it's been a busy week. Haven't been able to do the drawing, so we'll extend it one more day. If you leave us a post-game voicemail, Signature Roofing, we'll give away that on Monday morning show. So Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection. Check out our friends at Signature Roofing, again online at mysignatureroofing.com. All right, Mike Prater, as I can see on the board right there, I guess behind the camera in front of me, 21.5 points. Betting ticket number 117 for Boise State, 118 if you want Nevada. Over under of 51.5. Boise State, 1,400 on the money line for tonight's game. It was like 1,900 as of yesterday, so that's kind of weird. It is down, but if you think Boise State's just going to win, you can risk $1,400 to win a $100 profit back. 21.5 point favorites. I don't know, Mike. Like I said, I like the way they're playing right now. Maybe I bought in too much to the blowout at UNLV, which should have been worse than it was, or against UNLV. But to me, this has 45-10 written all over it. Nevada's just not a very good team. I haven't been impressed with them. Their only win was Sacramento State, which they should have lost. There was a couple of fluky things that happened in that game. You know, I like Jeff Choate, even though he doesn't want to come on this show anymore when I'm on it. That's fine. But I think that he's in a tough spot. I think that he, it's just they don't have a ton of resources. They don't have a great stadium. It's an almost no-win situation. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it going there or get the time he needs to get it going there or not. But it's just a tough situation right there, and I just don't see this game being close. Maybe, as you said, the 2010 team being back, maybe they show some highlights on the video board of that game, and maybe there's just some weird voodoo magic tonight on the road. I don't know, and that's the only way I can see this happening, just some fluke pick sixes or whatever. But I've been wrong plenty. I'm usually wrong, but I don't see this game being close, Mike Prater. I got like 45-10 written all over it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be that big. I am very intrigued, though, by the over-under line, 51, because I do think Boise State can get to 40. I mean, San Diego State scored 44, I believe it was, against Reno, 2 weeks ago in Reno? I mean, do I have that right? Didn't San Diego State go to Reno 2 weeks ago and win by and score 40-plus points? And the San Diego State's offense is not anywhere near as good as Boise State's offense, I don't think. So I think Boise State's easily going to get to 40 points. And I don't see Nevada getting more than 10. So that over-under line is really, really intriguing to me. Again, Vegas has been spot on when it comes to Boise State this year. So maybe it's a 40-10, 42-10 type of a game. I will see how that plays out. Maybe Nevada strikes first early just based on their emotions. But yeah, I'm with you. Boise State's going to handle their business. I'm not. There's no intrigue whatsoever tonight. They just have to play well. Maddox Madsen has to play well. A clean game. I'm kind of tired of saying playing well. How about just a clean game? That's kind of my new phrase. Play a clean game. And I think everybody will be happy with what you're doing. And we'll have a lot of other different ideas in terms of the running backs and the wide receivers and how this offense is going to roll and how they're going to compensate for losing Ben Ford. Lots of storylines with tonight. But, yeah, Boise State should be able to handle business. No problem tonight.
I think we're getting more messages in the chat than anything about the size of the goalpost down there in Reno, Mike Prater, asking if they finally fixed this junior high goalpost.
That hurts. That those goalposts will haunt Boise State forever, and I get it, man. We all have those ghosts in our sports past, and that's a tough one. That's one of the worst losses, if not the worst loss in Boise State history, and it should sting, and it sucks. And Boise State fans have rallied around that loss, and I think it's been kind of good the way they rallied around that loss. But yeah, that one hurts, and I certainly understand fans not ever going down there. I went to the BYU game, the Utah BYU game in Provo a couple years ago. The first time I've ever been to a football game in Provo. It was a horrible experience, and I'm never going back. I get it. I totally understand it, guys. I'm that guy as well. I'm with you there, but I still think there'll be at least 5,000 fans at tonight's game.
We had Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines on the Riley and Ridge show Tuesday night. If folks get time today, go back and watch that. An hour interview, just kind of shooting the breeze there at the James. And we appreciate Jackson's for the NIL component to that, taking care of these guys with some Jackson's gift cards to get these guys on the show. And I really enjoyed hearing from Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines on earlier this week, Mike. And Dylan Riley is kind of emerged. I mean, this guy is going to be 1,000-yard back here. I mean, it'll be a disappointment if he doesn't. A lot of folks in the chat here thinking Dylan Riley goes off tonight. As he continues to emerge, as he starts to get more attention, starts doing more interviews like coming to the James on Tuesday, just How do you see Dylan Riley handling all this, and do you expect him to go off for a big game again tonight?
I expect Boise State's running game to go off, and Dylan Riley's going to be the head of that monster. There's no doubt about it. Sire Gaines is certainly going to get his due, but I think Dylan Riley at this point has proven that he needs to be RB1, and I know that that's kind of weird, but we're deep with the sample size is big, and the results are big, and the gap in the window between Sire Gaines and Dylan Riley is massive. So Sire Gaines has got this role, and it's this physical third down, maybe touchdown role, and a couple of series here to spell Dylan Riley, but I think it's a Dylan Riley show. And yeah, between those two, I think that they should be able to run for a couple hundred yards. Boise State should be able to run for a couple hundred yards. Boise State should be able to pass for 300 yards tonight. I see Boise State's offense rolling with a pretty clean game. Hopefully the offensive line can keep going. They're coming off their best game of the season, penalty free. They did well. They're doing a nice job in terms of taking care of Maddox. It was a nice clean game last week. So just keep that momentum going. And that offensive line and that running game, that's going to take Boise State a long ways this season.
So if we get to the fourth quarter and it's a close game, a one-score game here, what went wrong for Boise State? How does Nevada keep this game competitive tonight?
Sloppy Maddox Madsen, special teams gaps. I mean, the things that have been happening with Boise State, a defensive lapse. And if there's, let's just say there's one of those three. And if even all three of those happen, is that a free 7 points? Is that a free 14 points? Is that a free 21 points? I think I'd be worried about those three things. Maddox Madsen has to play a clean game. Nevada's going to come after him. Nevada's going to try to pressure him. There's no doubt that Choate's going to get after him and apply a lot of different pressure. Maddox has to play a clean game, and I think all eyes are on the special teams. Stacey Collins, there's a lot of pressure on Stacey Collins to make sure that these special teams are cleaned up and taken care of. That's how you lose these kinds of football games. No special teams gaps tonight.
Blake says he's calling 250 yards and 4 touchdowns from Riley. That would be quite the game for him. Ben Watlin's calling a McCoy pick 6 again. D. Ray says 2 touchdowns for Marshall tonight. Sky Ship says Boise State's going to be the one to score a special teams touchdown tonight. Tyree really wants to see a punt return touchdown. So hopefully Spencer makes sure no one takes this game for granted. I don't think that's going to be an issue tonight, Mike.
No, I mean, has that happened in the past? Is that a track record? Is that a thing for Spencer Danielson? Nobody's taking anything for granted. Of all things, Spencer Danielson is not taking things for granted. So I would not worry about that one, guys.
Well, Mike, I'm gonna keep this thing rolling for a little bit, but I know you guys have a meeting and a show to get ready for yourself. I will be joining you guys 4:15. So that's what time? 3:15 Pacific. I may need to touch base with you on that. I think I'll be in Reno en route to the hotel. That should work okay, hopefully. So I think that'll work okay. I'll touch base with you after the show, but I'll be in Reno getting set for the game tonight, joining you guys at 4:15. Someone asking about Zion Washington. Yes, he is out tonight. Someone asked about Devon Banks real quick, Mike. Is he hurt or is he sitting out, somebody said? Do you have any thought on that? Because he's played 4 games.
He's been out 2 weeks in a row. I don't think there was a disciplinary issue. In
terms of him wanting to keep his red shirt, some people say maybe he's just sitting out.
We can look into that on Monday or post game tonight. We can certainly ask that. I hadn't thought of that. I just assumed that he was hurt. I don't remember when he got hurt, so maybe there is something to that. We'll certainly sniff around on that.
All right, you guys, 3 to 6. Any other promos or thoughts you want to throw out about your show? 3 to 6 today.
Yeah, it's all about game day, baby. It's all about game day, and it's a long game day. It's just kind of a 3-hour pregame show. I know you got your pregame show, as you said. You'll join us at 4:15, and we'll get after a little bit. So it's a long day, guys. We started off at 9 o'clock this morning. We're going to be on the air until after midnight tonight with your postgame show, our postgame show. This is why we get into this business. It's a fun Friday. I'm looking forward to it, and then it's going to be a great weekend of college football.
Hey, appreciate you, Prater. I'm going to keep this thing rolling, but we'll be listening 3 to 6, and I'll talk to you guys at 4:15.
See you, bud. See you tonight.
There he is, Mike Prater. Appreciate him again. We are broadcasting live from Circa Resort and Casino. Fremont Street is the location in downtown Boise. If you've never been down to Circa, you are really missing out. We're an unbelievable, family-like atmosphere here. And Derek and Tyler and David and the whole crew, we just love Circa and everything about it. And so lucky to have stumbled into a relationship and partnership with them at Circa. And it truly is an unbelievable experience for your next trip down here to Las Vegas. I mentioned the legendary Vegas Vicky neon sign out there. They moved it inside. It was on Fremont Street. They moved it inside the building. They've got the world's largest sports book. They've got table games, so many different things and options here at Circa Resort and Casino. And this has become kind of the home away from home for Boise State fans in Las Vegas. They love Boise State fans down here and taking care of them. You see Mega Bar. It's the world's, the longest indoor bar in the state of Nevada. They have all the games on there. And then, of course, Circa Sports, as I said, the largest sports book in the world. You have to come check this out, guys. 3 levels in the sports book. You see all the odds on the side. They've got TVs across the top, the bottom, all the sizes they're changed on the TVs to how many games are on and things like that. So all the games are on 3 levels. You can rent tables and seating, or just sit there in the regular movie theater style seating on the sides. And then, of course, the crown jewel of it all, Stadium Swim, 6 outdoor pools. They've got all the games on, the music. Maybe you want to watch the game, your wife, girlfriend, they want to party and have a DJ. Well, they have both. The games are on, and they've got all the other options there. So it truly is a remarkable place, remarkable spot here at Circa Resort and Casino. And, man, love this place. Love everything about it. And, could have flown up last night, 9 p.m. We forgot to mention with Mike Prater, the team got delayed almost 8 hours in Boise yesterday. Luckily, they did know the delay was going to happen, so they did not go to the airport. They stayed at the facility, stayed at home, got all their work done in Boise, all their meetings, all their walkthroughs, everything they would have done after they got to Reno on Friday. They just got done in Boise before they flew to Reno. So they did not touch down in Reno till about 9 p.m. last night. And they had you saw Jeremiah Dickey's tweet saying that they, want to know and that they were taking off, and it was dark outside with the plane. So looked into it a little bit, and they were delayed due to a mechanical issue almost 8 hours yesterday. Didn't leave Boise until almost 9 o'clock, and then with a time change, got in about 9 o'clock, I believe, in Reno. But again, got all their work done in Boise, got all the meetings, got everything done in Boise. It wasn't like they were sitting at the airport for 8 hours waiting. They got everything done at the facility, knew it was going to be a later flight, and then got all of that done. So it really should not, in my mind, affect them at all. Obviously, with it being a late game tonight, I'm sure they'll let them sleep in a little bit today before they get going for the walkthroughs and things like that. So it says, how does that happen on a charter? Well, charters have maintenance issues as well. Charters, it's not Southwest. It is Sun Country is the charter company they use, Sun Country Airlines. But no, I mean, that's they get to Boise, they see something wrong with the plane, and they got to either get another plane brought there or get it fixed. I mean, stuff happens with any kind of plane. So there was a mechanical issue that had to get fixed, and it took almost 8 hours. And luckily, I don't know if they got a new plane or all the details on that, but they were able to take off about 9 p.m. last night and did get there. But the big thing to again get across is that they got everything done in Boise before they left, and they're not. It really didn't cause any kind of delays or anything. They just land and go to the hotel and maybe missed a little family time at the hotel like they usually get the night before a game, but got all their meetings and everything out of the way, and so that's not an issue at all. Also, I'm not going to really get into it. A couple of you asked why Jeff Choate wouldn't come on BNN. He did come on BNN with Kent Riddle over the summer, so I don't want to say too much, but I guess last year when he came on and said some kind of comments about being a little salty that he didn't get the Boise State job, we put those back on social media, and those kind of blew up, and that maybe didn't go over great at that point that we had picked that quote to kind of put on social media. So he did come on with Kent Riddle at Media Days. Just maybe he wasn't particularly happy, I guess, with me. I don't know. But again, it's not a huge issue, not a huge deal. He did come on the show. Him and Kent Riddle did the interview. I just wasn't a part of that interview, if you noticed that. But that's kind of the backstory on that. But there was some, I guess the one quote that kind of went viral of him saying that Dirk Cutter got a second chance, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what happened. I like Jeff Choate. I got nothing against him. All the former players I've talked to love Jeff Choate, and so I enjoyed talking to Jeff Choate. I've got nothing against him. So if he doesn't, if there's anything different the other way, I don't know, but I think Jeff Choate is in a no-win situation down there, and I think he's a great coach, and that's not really reflective of his record at Nevada based on what he's dealing with down there. So it is what it is, but that's the reasoning, I guess, behind that. But yeah, we are in Las Vegas. I'm getting ready to fly here in about 2 hours over to Reno. We'll have full pregame coverage, full postgame coverage. I'll be live on the field. I have the Starlink internet, And again, yesterday wasn't really our fault. We had a 5-hour show. We had everything set up. We had the Ethernet cable ready to go. And then as soon as the show started, everyone was saying it was super choppy. So Resorts World, that's why you do the media days at Circa, not Resorts World. Resorts World apparently had too many networks on the Ethernet line or didn't have a strong enough connection and it wasn't working. We switched to the Wi-Fi. That wasn't even, wasn't working at times. So we got, I'd say, 9 of the 12 interviews were great. The women's interview with Gordy Presnell was a little choppy, but it is what it is. Literally, it was out of our control. Nothing we could have done when the Resorts World internet wasn't good enough. So that's why you need to come to Circa, stay at Circa where the internet's not a problem, because I don't think we've had any issues, and I'm on the Circa Wi-Fi right now here at Cabana 7 at Stadium Swim as we hit 55 minutes. So it was still a great show, almost 5 hours. Go back and watch all the great interviews with the coaches and the players and everything. And so we had basketball media days yesterday, and then now we have the pregame show tonight. But what I was saying was the internet was bad there. The internet should not be bad at the game tonight because I do have the Starlink. So I rented the Starlink. We had the Notre Dame internet issues, but I have the Starlink tonight, so we should be hopefully okay and on the field. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But tonight on the field, we should have the live pregame show for you. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff in Boise. We'll be live about 6:30. Join us at 6:30. We'll be live 6:30 to 7:30 on the field. Jeremiah Dickey is going to join us live. Maybe Jay Tust will join us live. We have some other guests, but we will try to get you a live look at warm-ups, show you the players warming up, show you the atmosphere, the scene, the Boise State fans there in Reno. So join us tonight, 6:30 Mountain Time. We'll be live on the field, internet permitting, which should be good this time since I have the Starlink, tonight at 6:30. And then post-game, we hope you watch the game at Uncle Bob's. Great spot. Head on out to Uncle Bob's, but it's just too late to do the post-game show at Uncle Bob's tonight. They've got $3 Coors Lights during the game. So if you're looking for a spot tonight to watch the game, head on out to Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian. Great spot. And as I said, $3 Coors Lights throughout the game. But with that said, they don't want to stay open until 2 a.m. to do our post-game show. So our post-game show is going to be remote. Nathan Carroll and Michael Callahan will both be doing it from their homes here on StreamYard after the game. So as soon as the game ends, join Michael Callahan, join Nathan Carroll on StreamYard. That's the program we use here that does all this. But we will have a full post-game show right when the game ends. Michael Callahan, Nathan Carroll, and then I'll try to jump on from the press box after our interviews as well. So pregame at 6:30. Post-game right after the game, tons of coverage throughout our game thread. If you're watching the game at home tonight, we get a big game thread going on the message boards where you can just chat and comment and go back and forth with folks. All the BNN crew drops some stats and facts and tidbits into the game thread there. So Nathan Carroll's preview is out. He did a great job yesterday with basketball coverage. He was down here with me at Mountain West Media Day. We had 3 BNN employees down here. Nathan came down and did a great job on the stories. And then Kanan Rogers, he's a senior at Boise State as an intern. We rewarded him to come down and help out yesterday with the setup and everything as well. And then we made sure he had a good time yesterday before he flew back. So appreciate Kanan, appreciate Nathan, and appreciate all of you, because the 3 of us were the only 3 local Boise media members that came down here, all from BNN, to give you the show yesterday and the coverage. And Nathan's already got a couple stories online about that. You can read that. He'll have more basketball coverage coming. His 4 takeaways from yesterday are up right now at BroncoNationNews.com. And his football preview is now up. So all the numbers, key areas to watch, players to watch, his prediction on the game and the best bet, that is up right now at BroncoNationNews.com. So if you are a paid subscriber, you can go on there and read it. If you're not, $7 a month, perfect time to join. And you can read Nathan Carroll's preview and coverage of the game tonight at BroncoNationNews.com. I'll have a post-game story. We'll have Prater's post-game thoughts. We'll have all kinds of stuff tonight after the game as well. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Going to get this packed up and head to the airport and head to Reno. And we'll see all you in Reno. See you all in the pregame show, 6:30 tonight from Mackey Stadium. We'll be on the field tonight. So appreciate everybody again here at Circa Resort and Casino. And if I can give you kind of one look of our setup right here, we are right here in the cabana. There's our view, Stadium Swim out the door. They got all the games on, the pools. I mean, what a setup here. This has been my view for the last hour. Stadium Swim, Circa Resort and Casino. It's your spot. If you've never been to Circa, it is an unbelievable spot. As I said, we appreciate all them for having us and figured, why would you spend an extra night in Reno? I mean, is anybody going to disagree with me on that? Would you rather spend the extra night in Reno last night or stay and hang out here at Circa and then fly up to Reno today? I think that's something we can probably all agree on. So don't like traveling on game day. Knock on wood, gets a little dicey sometimes, but hopefully the flight's on time and everything's good, and we should get there in plenty of time for the pregame show tonight up in Reno. So thanks again. Thanks to Circa. Thanks to all of you. And go read our coverage at BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe if you can, $7 a month, and we will see you all again 6:30 for the pregame show. And we'll see you online in the message boards. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. Going to be fun. Can't wait to get to Reno. Game day, Boise State, Nevada, 21.5-point spread. The rivalry resumes maybe for the final time. 47th meeting tonight. Going to be fun, guys. Let's get through the day, and we'll see you at 6:30 from the field at Mackey Stadium in Reno. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. Take care from Circa, everybody. We'll see you soon.